Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy.ellman from Northumbria University in the UK, and I'm representing Andrew Jones, Nanlin Jin of our Department of Computing and Information Systems, and I'm going to be presenting an application of sentiment analysis techniques to determine public opinion in social media. So to give you an overview of the presentation, I'll start by summarizing the problem, discuss our research question, go into our technical approach, and that's going to lead me into describing a Twitter application prototype, which will take information from Twitter and carry out sentiment analysis on it, describe a particular experiment and our results, make some conclusions and suggestions for future work. So the problem of opinion polling is that there is a lot of sample variance. So ideally we want statistically independent, identically distributed samples of the population. However, there is a cost to collecting samples. So whilst opinion pollsters are careful in the selection of their samples, the larger the sample, the more it can represent the population and the less it is susceptible to bias. Now, in addition to the cost of collection, there is also a time involved in talking to people on the phone and so on. So opinion polls inevitably lag to some extent public opinion. And no pollster will say that they don't have some statistical error included. So when possible opinion poll results give some marginal result, there could be a variance between a yes or no on some particular public issue, which is within the statistical variation, but which is nevertheless misleading for people who are drawing on those opinion polls. So sometimes they fail to provide accurate data for the political process. And these inaccuracies lead to misleading interpretations. So our research question then is that given a large number of people express opinions on social media, can we then use that social media to determine opinions and show changes in those opinions corresponding to external events? Our technical approach is to use Twitter as a social media. Tweets, as you know, are 140 to 280 characters, short items of text, and the big advantage of Twitter is that you post a tweet, it's visible worldwide immediately. So what we chose to do was to develop a program which collects tweets systematically over some time period. We then apply AI sentiment analysis tools to those tweets to determine opinion in relation to some particular topic. We can then look over a time period to see what variations there have been corresponding to external events. So before going on to talk about the prototype, of course we're fully aware that people who are using Twitter do not necessarily represent the population to anything like the accuracy of the samples which opinion pollsters are using. However, there are far more of them, so we can look at a generic representation of this crowd opinion. And here's how we do it. Twitter gives various application programming interfaces, or makes various application programming interfaces available. And one particular one is the streaming API, which reflects all the tweets which are coming in. And we can then filter all those tweets for one keyword. And in this particular case, we're using the keyword Brexit. This also picks up all the hashtags Brexit and so on. And we made this a Twitter application. You need to be a Twitter developer, which is to authenticate to use the platform in this way. And there are several libraries written in Python which support this development. So we use the TweetPy library, which will filter the stream for us. We collect the tweets and save those. And we can then calculate the polarity and subjectivity, so that is the strength of opinion being expressed on a particular they're not views on that topic, they're just how forcefully expressed those views are, positively or negatively. And we use the Python text block module to do that. So for what we're doing, you just need to register as a Twitter developer. You don't need commercial access. And of course, you get quite a large volume of information. So if we took our application and we use a standard UML kind of representation, we've got the user here, we set up various settings, include terms, we're calling the application here scrape. Once the main part is running, this connects to the Twitter stream. That collects a lot of data once it's satisfied its credentials with the Twitter. Of course, those connection keys are private. Subsequently, we can run an analysis process. So we don't need to run the analysis dynamically. We can do that offline. And altogether, this is a relatively straightforward application. For each particular session that we run, we get a variety of opinions, sentiments that are expressed. The majority, as you can see on this particular occasion, are neutral. We also get positive sentiment mentioned in regard to some keyword, and also negative. And what we want to do is look over time at the variations between those. Clearly, on any particular process like this involving a large quantity of data, we get statistical variation. But we can see here we've got positive, negative, and neutral. A reduction in positive at this point corresponds to an increase in negative. So we can see over time that external events are being reflected in opinions expressed over Twitter. So we carried out an experiment, the Brexit experiment if you like, between February and 21st and 11th of April last year, and we collected between 10 and 12,000 tweets within 1 hour a day between 12 and 1 p.m. For those several weeks. We could then look at the polarity and subjectivity using the text blob library. Of course, Twitter is notorious for being full of emoticons and strange characters and spelling mistakes and so on. So a cleaning process is also required. We could then look at the daily average of positive, negative, and neutral tweets. So this doesn't mean that people are saying, I'm going to vote for this or I'm going to vote for that. It just means that whatever they tweet has some positive sentiment, which is, oh, it's great that somebody has said something or other, or the usual kind of stuff that you see on Twitter, expressed more or less forcefully. This essentially gives us a snapshot of public opinion in relation to our keyword there. So if we look at how those individual data varied over time, positive, negative, and neutral sentiment, what we can see is there are clear peaks and troughs at certain points. There's also a certain amount of noise, but we can pick out two events here. So on the 4th of February, Donald Tusk gave a speech emphasizing the need for unity and cooperation, and that got quite a large positive swing. People who aren't in favor of the particular proposition scored that negatively. Further on, we see another event here. On the 10th of March, there was a speech by a UK politician, not viewed particularly positively, so a large negative swing and a reduction in the positive. So we could see opinions changing over time as reflected on the sentiment expressed via Twitter. So what I've described then is the development of an application which collects streamed data from the Twitter microblogging platform, filtered by a particular topic. We can then process that data and look for general sentiment towards that topic by using sentiment analysis tools which are available. So this has shown us, these experiments have shown us that it is feasible to use this approach to get a more accurate and timely opinion of public response to external factors. And that demonstrates support for the hypothesis that sentiment analysis of tweets reflects public opinion. Our current challenge is trying to produce a quantitative model of this. What we've discussed so far is qualitative. We now want to go on and develop a quantitative model using the same ideas. If you have questions, then I welcome emails at this address, and I'll be making available a GitHub link to the source in due course. Thanks very much.